Hey Syntheads, today we're to be talking about my Studio Tour 2018. Hey, this is Pure Ambient Drone, and this is my channel where I talk about synthesizers. If you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with all of my synth adventures. Okay, I said a mouthful, but listen, the other day I revealed that I bought a JD XA, but this was not the synthesizer that I had added last to my collection, and I don't count it because I already owned the JD XA a while back, so this wasn't really new to me. This is just something that I missed. But anyway, here we have the JD XA. It's by Roland, and you guys probably watched the video yesterday, of course, about how I got it at a fantastic price. I was done buying synthesizers up until this point, but I really miss the JD XA. It is a powerful synthesizer. It has lots of different combinations that you can run through it with the digital and analog side of things. And yes, you can take a digital synth and you can add it with a fully analog synth and you can get some similar effects. But it's like, you know, this is having it all in one box, okay? And there's some great things about it. There's some things that I don't like about it. But the sound of this, I really think it's a unique Roland product, and I think it belongs in my studio. So I sold it some time ago, found it at a fantastic price, so I had to snatch it back up. So this is the Roland JD XA. It's an old new synth, if you will, okay? Now, I've been working on my studio quite a while here, so there are some messes. But before I go to another synthesizer, I want to talk about my control center right here. This is a 32 input, and I mean literally it has 32 inputs. It is a Studio Live 32 by PreSonus. I'm going to be honest with you, I've had PreSonus products in the past, and they never really got me excited. I never really thought that they were the best of quality, and this is just my opinion, and you know, I'm sure other people will have their own opinions as well. And it just depends on what you buy from a company of whether or not, you know, you're going to get their high-end or their low-end. This is definitely a high-end mixer, and I cannot recommend it enough. It has made a huge difference in the quality of my productions. The preamps in this thing are solid. I think they're warm. I mean, really, I think they're warm preamps. It's got a lot of features. I haven't even begun to scratch the surface on this Studio Live 32. Now, over here I have this little pedal right here, and it's just a reverb by Boss, and this is the RV6, and I don't use this too much. I had it hooked up to a MS-20 Mini that I no longer have here in the studio. I still own the keyboard, or yeah, I still own it, but I don't have it hooked up. But because I'm thinking about selling that. So that's one of my effects. Everyone's always asking me about effects. So this is one of my effects. I'm not a big effect guy. I like to do post-production. So like I said, it's going to be a little messy here, but let's take a look at the other thing. I got a lot of wires everywhere. I'm getting ready to redo things here in the studio. This here is a Dave Smith Instruments, and it is an It's an Evolve. It's a Poly Evolver. It's got 4 voices. When I first got this thing, it had some problems with it, and had to get a little bit of work done on it. It was nothing major, okay, but it panned out to be a fantastic deal. And I tell you what, this little beast is unique in its sound as well. And if you can grab one of these, I think currently they're under $2,000. I know you can still find them for under $2,000, and I know that's a lot of money, guys. I know it is. But if you're a synth head and you're looking for something unique in your studio, this is one of the keyboards that you should have, okay? Then this up here is, of course, the Montage 6. That's just meaning that it's got the lesser keys than the 7 and the 8, right? Okay, 61 keys, and it's a Yamaha, and you know, it gives you a little bit of everything. It's got some great pad sounds, you know. I wouldn't call them exactly super thick and lush, but they're great for layering, and they have a lot of different effects on board on this, and it just gives you about just everything you really need. There's been a couple of times where I needed to pull out some strings that just wasn't working for me, and I grabbed this little puppy, and it made it happen. So I mean, every studio needs an all-rounder. That's what I call these kinds of keyboards, are all-rounders. I don't know if this is really called, a synth, as a lot of us guys call synthesizers. But it's a great keyboard, and I think every studio needs something like this where you can pull out some sounds that the conventional VAs and digitals and analogs don't actually give you. This is really good. So next above that, I have the DeepMind 12. And I read mixed reviews on these synthesizers. This is a fantastic piece of equipment, guys. And I can't believe that they're going for so cheap. I have a suspicion that if Behringer would have rolled these out for $2,000, I think people would have bought into them a lot quicker. I think lowering the price makes people think that the quality is low, that the value is low. Now everyone's going to get mad. You just told Behringer to raise their prices. But there's a lot to be perceived with price stickers. And that's did you know that that's why a lot of synthesizers are going up in price? It's not because it's costing them more money to produce them, but there is a psychological impact by the purchaser who, a lot of people believe that if you pay more money for a synthesizer, you're going to get more synth. That's not always the case. This proves it right here. Behringer is making some extremely high quality synthesizers at a fraction of the cost, excuse me, that some of these other manufacturers are coming out with. So, I mean, come on. A lot of synthesizers coming out right now are like 4K or close to it. Look at the Prophet X, okay? Look at the Quantum, right? And I can mention a few. The Solaris. These things are costing some big bucks, right? And here you have a fully 12-voice analog synthesizer for under $1,000. Why wouldn't anybody buy one of these? I don't know. It's crazy not to think that, or it's crazy to think that this is not a valuable asset to any synth head studio. Get a DeepMind 12, explore it, love it. Turn the effects off if you don't like the effects. A lot of people complain about the effects. Turn them off. Add your own. And then up here I have a synthesizer, the Juno 106 by Roland. You can tell I'm kind of a Roland guy. I like the classic Rolands. And man, you can't get a warmer, lovelier sound for pads unless you go with the Jupiters or another Juno. I'm just telling you, maybe a Juno 6. I never got to play those other ones, so I'm really just speaking out my backside here. But I got to tell you, I've tried a lot of synthesizers, and this 106 is just absolutely gorgeous sounding. Got the blue LEDs installed on it, and new voice chip upgrades. So, all of that's been changed out. New battery. This thing has been completely overhauled. Should last, I don't know, 20, 30 years, I hope. I don't know. Watch it last 10 weeks. No, don't say that. Okay. So, that's this rack on this side. And then these are Jasper. These are Jasper stands. And they're 4-tier stands. They're very strong, very sturdy. Come up here. I'm not going to show you the one synthesizer until last that I bought when I said this was the last one I'm buying. Well, let me start over here because this here is an FAO6 and it is hooked up. Okay, that's hooked up. Hasn't always been hooked up. I unhooked it for a while. I use it mainly as a MIDI controller. And it actually controls every board that I'm showing you here. So that's the FAO6 by Roland. And this here's a JDXI. This is not hooked up to sound. It's not hooked into the mixer. I should. I guess I could. I've got enough room that I could do it. I don't know. It's just the sounds really don't do it for me. Okay. JDXI is a great machine, and if you're starting out with synthesizers and you need something with drums and analog, this is a great deal. So yes, I would recommend one. Well, right now it's a MIDI controller, right? And this is what's really cool about them, is that I'm controlling 3 modules with it, and I'll get to those here in a minute. The first module that is controlling is this Access Virus C. I did a video on this before, and this Access Virus C, I said in the video that I done on it that I was thinking about selling it, but that's not going to happen. I'm going to keep this puppy. This is a magnificent machine, and I've only heard demos of the TI series. And I've heard people who actually had their hands on both. They think that the Virus C sounds the best out of all the viruses. I can't really honestly say that I know that it does, but for me, it's a fantastic machine. And every time I go through and play with this machine, it's like, wow, it really surprises me. I can't get over the wow factor. So this is definitely a keeper here. Then over here, I have the TR8. Everyone's got to have a drum machine. I think Roland did a really great job, even though this is an analog. I think this is a fantastic job. I know that there's an S out there. I guess it stands for sampling. Not interested in any of that. I just like the straight out of the box drums, and I don't really get too fancy with them. Maybe I should. Maybe I should explore some more of that. Then this here is the Sequential P. Prophet X. Trying to get it in shot here while I talk. And this sucker here is pushing 4K, right? So this is what I'm talking about. Synthesizers are going up in prices. And, you know, you got to ask yourself, are we getting more for our money? Or are we getting the same old, right? Okay, and then the other module that the JDXI controls is the OB6. And this is such a beauty. The sound of it is so unique. And then right next door is the Prophet 6. OB6, Prophet 6. You got to have them both. That's what I say. There is a big difference between the two. So then we come up to here. If you've been following my channel, you've already seen a lot of this stuff already. This is a Waldorf, and it is a Micro Q keyboard. And I had the Phoenix edition that was, a module, and I'm trying to get away from those. I just want everything to be keyboards. Just my preference, it's my workflow. And I got this for a great price. Appreciate the seller on this one. Now, the synthesizer that I bought last, I do have an honorable mentioning. I have out of the studio a JD800. It's not set up yet. I'm trying to find room for it. I may have to buy another keyboard rack. That's why it's not in here. I'm doing some rearranging in the studio. So there is a JD800. I can't show you right now, but it may be a keeper. I don't know. I might sell it. I'm looking at some other options for that. Okay, I may sell that and replace it with something that's totally different and unique to my studio as well. So again, this next one that I'm about to show you is the last one that I purchased. But if the JD800 goes, it may be because of something that I have my eye on. I know, never say it's the last synthesizer, guys. Okay, let that be the lesson for this video. But here we go. It is, dun dun dun, the Waldorf XT, the microwave keyboard. Can't believe I got my hands on one of these. This one here is in fantastic condition. Just an absolute beaut. And it goes so nicely next door to its sister. Don't you guys just agree that this is just a fantastic setup right here? I am just so lucky that I was able to get one of these at a fantastic price again, and in such great condition, okay? So anyway, that's really the whole studio right there. and your comments are welcomed. So please, guys, comment below. Love to hear from you guys. If you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with all of my synth adventures. And until next time, I'm Pure Ambient Drone. Keep calm and synth on.